Hi everybody, it's Hannah Studley from the Mind Body Institute, and today I want to talk about insomnia. Because over the years, I've talked to a lot of people who've told me they have insomnia. And when I ask them enough questions, it turns out that they probably are getting enough sleep, but they're terrified that they're not getting enough sleep. So let's look at that for a moment. Now, believe me, I think everybody should get a lot more sleep. You know, we often talk about the fight or flight response, and the opposite of that is rest and repair, which happens when we're sleeping. So yes, sleep is good. But when I talk to people who say that they have insomnia or they have trouble sleeping, what usually happens is it kind of goes like this. They wake up in the morning and they feel dreadful because they woke up a few times or they had trouble getting to sleep. And now they start worrying. They haven't even got out of bed yet and they're worrying, you know, how am I going to get through the day? How am I going to do my exams? How am I going to do that presentation at work? How am I going to take care of the grandkids? You know, or it's just Monday and how am I going to get through the week, right? We can all get really scared and worried once that thinking starts moving. And see, then we start ruminating. So then throughout the day, you're like, now you're sluggish because we've started off the day in fight or flight. And then by the time it gets to nighttime and it's time to go to sleep, we're thinking about what the rotten day we had and how we didn't sleep well enough last night. How am I going to get through the week? Blah, blah, blah. It starts up again. And so it's hard to get to sleep. Now, for some people, it's hard getting to sleep, and other people can get to sleep, but then they wake up during the night. So then you can see it's going to set up a vicious cycle. So then they can't get to sleep because their mind is going 100 miles an hour. Or if they wake up, it's like now they're catastrophizing. So by the time the morning comes around again, it's like, oh my gosh, I didn't get another good night's sleep, right? And so, you know, the vicious cycle continues, and then people often end up in the doctor's office, and then we get given medications, and it just, you know, it just gets worse and worse. Which reminds me, I had a client once who she came to me because she said she had insomnia. And so she said, oh gosh, I had another terrible last night. I couldn't get to sleep last night and I ended up taking a medication. I know it's not good. So I asked her some questions. I said, how long were you like trying to get to sleep before you gave in and took the medication? And I'm thinking she's going to say 2 a.m., 3 a.m. She said, well, about 20 minutes. I'm like, 20 minutes? 20 minutes is nothing. What if 20 minutes is okay? What if after 20 minutes your body just kicks in and your brain quietens down and you were able to go to sleep? But she didn't know that because she didn't trust her body clock. She didn't trust her brain or that she had the ability to go to sleep. And so this dependency on the medication had kind of taken over. And I'm really proud of her because once she started understanding these ideas and these principles, she did start working with me on a detox and getting rid of those medications. And quite honestly, you know, if you have those in the house, it's not surprising we give in and take them because, I mean, I've never had sleeping pills, but I know that if there's chocolate in the house, I can come up with a good reason for eating it, even though I've promised myself all day I'm not going to. So I'm going to tell you a quick little story just to finish this idea. You know, I have 2 cats, as I probably might have mentioned before. And when the eldest one was a baby, when he was a little kitten, you know, about 2 or 3 months old, when he got big enough to jump on my bed, you know, he would come and jump on my head in the middle of the night, like 3 o'clock in the morning, boom, let's play, right? And it would be so frustrating because it's hot, you know, it was the summer, it's really hot. I'd have to throw him out, I'd shut my bedroom door, and then I'm now sleeping in a small box with no air, and I'm really angry with him, like, right? And guess what? The next night, he comes and jumps on my head at 3 o'clock in the morning. You know, I throw him out, shut the door. Now I can't breathe because I'm in my bedroom with no air. And then the third night, guess what? He comes and jumps on my head, 2 or 3 in the morning. And I suddenly realize I don't actually have to be annoyed. It suddenly dawned on me that was a choice. It was a choice to be annoyed with him. I mean, he's a kitten. That's what they do, right? So the next night, guess what happened? At 2 or 3 a.m., he jumps on my head. I put him out, shut the door, and I went straight back to sleep. I wasn't annoyed. And he's 5 years old now, right? And he's a big orange tomcat. And he sleeps on my bed, and sometimes when I turn over, he's there, or he comes and moves. I haven't got annoyed with him since. Now, I do wake up quite a lot during the night. I'm probably a light sleeper. I've always been a light sleeper. And my trouble right now is mosquitoes. You know, it's really hot, and where I live there's a lot of mosquitoes, and you know, they dive bomb you. Right? And I've tried all kinds of things, you know, the fan, the blue light, the mosquito net, and I just come to the place now where I just don't get bothered by it. It happens, I wake up, I go straight back to sleep again. So what if it's okay to wake up during the night? What if it's okay that something woke you up? What if it's okay that you have a big day tomorrow? Once you start understanding that we're feeling or thinking about not getting enough sleep, and that can pass through and that can move on, and it's not actual fact, you know, because most people, even if they think they're not getting enough sleep, it's usually enough. I mean, ask any new parent, you know, a mum of a new baby. They don't get enough sleep, and they cope, you know. Moms have been coping for thousands and thousands of years, you know, of how to deal with a newborn baby, and they cope, and they even take care of other kids and run a house. What if it's the fear of not getting enough sleep that's actually causing the distress that you're suffering from? So if you want help with this, if you'd like to hear more about it, if you want to hear about these principles that I share with my clients that really help us to understand how the mind works, and that's what happened for me. So many of the things that I used to worry about and used to be so stressful for me it was mostly social anxiety and you know, not making mistakes, the perfectionist thing. Whatever it is, if you think you have to have a perfect night's sleep and anything less is not good enough, call me, write to me, talk to me. Let's work this out, because you probably are getting enough sleep. It's just you're thinking about it that's causing the experience that's so distressful. So that's it. I hope you have a great day and a great night's sleep tonight. And if not, reach out to me. I'll speak to you soon. Bye.